to try to make heads or tails of this absolutely incredible Showdown slate. Incredible because it's a lot of cheapos. There's a lot of stuff. There's kind of a perception that this game is not going to be competitive. The perception is probably real, but it's a really good opportunity to try to get unique and try to do some funny business. Um, I'd like to make sure that I have all of the actives set before I do anything, if that's at all possible. So I'd love to get. So I would love to get all that information. I know that Durham Smythe is in. I know that Devon A Chain is out. Just want to make sure that all of these cheapos that are listed, like Nick Bowden, Irvin Charles, Tyler Croft, CJ Uzoma, Julian Hill, I just want to make sure that they're all active. And for whatever reason, I'm having a little bit of trouble finding that exact information. And it's an hour before game time, so it's got to be somewhere. So let me just see if I can find a good spot. How about Jets actives on Twitter, maybe? Let me just see. Oh, there you go. Wait a minute. Bills talk, just Jesus, I can't quite get what I want. Jets active. Oh, here we go. Jets receivers by target. Lee Taylor's on the practice squad. Randall Cobb is active today. All right, so where are we going to find this? Where in all my discords and all of my information am I going to find who is active today in the Miami game? Let's see if we can't figure it out. Try to Google it somewhere. I mean, let's see. A Jets active roster. How about that? These all look really old. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Al Lazard inactive. What else do we have? Cobb was active. Lazard inactive. Darrington Evans is active, but he's not on the He's not on the slate. Amongst the inactives were cornerback, offensive tackle. Inactive were Robbie Chosen, formerly Robbie Anderson, and Chase Claypool. So I want to confirm that. Oh, here it is. So Lazard is inactive. Zach Wilson inactive. Mekhi Becton inactive. Carl Lawson is inactive. But Cobb is active. Okay. So. Appreciate that, Jenna. Anyway, let's. So this is what I'm going to do. All right, first, let's reset the SaberSim slate. Oh, before I do anything, I did play the NBA. I want to spend more time on the Showdown. I did play the NBA 2-game slate, and all I did was I'll show you, actually. I just updated the projections. I just put the 2-game slate up. I put the projections up in here, and I ran them. Where is it? I think in build 2, I think I did. And then I did do a GeoMeans filter. I did 2 things. One is I did, I'll show you again. Why not? All right. So let's, there's only 27 lineups in there. That's all I had. 40 lineups. Oh, I'm glad that I noticed this because I'm going to need more. Okay, so first, let's do it all again. Then we'll get back to football. Sorry about this. The projections are in. We're going to rebuild the lineups, but we have 40 lineups, so we're going to rebuild here. And again, I'm trying to play these shorter slates because it's pretty interesting to me. The push and pull between playing good lineups and playing unique lineups. That's why I've been playing a little more Showdown. And I, whenever I get these 2-game slates, even though they might not pay as much or whatever, I want to play them because it gives me practice investigating this tug of war, I guess. So we're going to do the exact same thing we just did. And I just noticed I didn't get enough lineups, so I'm going to do it again. And maybe we'll give the projections for the football a chance to reset. All right, so it's building again. Remember, for those of you here the first time, we're building 5,000 lineups on SaberSim. And that's just a pool of lineups to choose the ones that we're going to play. So it's loading the 5,000 lineups in the background. It's listing the top 40. I already did a contest sim setting where I identified the contest that I'm playing, and it filled in this information of what fields of lineups we're going to compare ourselves to, the contest size, and things like that. And we saved that setting. So we're going to then run this thing that says contest sim, where it's going to compare our entire pool of lineups against the field of lineups that, SaberSim, through its ownership and algorithm, is projecting the field will tend to play. So purportedly, our lineup set is being compared specifically for the contest that we're playing for leverage and to make sure we're not to make sure we're not getting duped. That's the next thing we're going to do, but to make sure that we're not too heavily owned. So these are the 40 lineups that best fit the contest sim. And the first thing I want to do is I want to give myself maybe 2 uniques just because. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I call duplication medication. Like, make sure, if as best as I can, that I'm not duping with anybody else. So that's when we do geo mean filtering. So again, it's a 2-step process. 1, figure out what geometric mean to limit, like what number, and then how to limit it. So again, we have our spreadsheet here, and again, I keep threatening to put this on the board, but I keep forgetting on the site, but I keep forgetting. Just a formula. Number of entries is going to be 2352. There are 8 players in the lineup, and we don't want more than 1 dupe, if any. So we need a geometric mean. That means the product of the ownership, right? Pretty much, of 37.8. You have to carry the decimals over here. So then what you do is you go into SaberSim once you have this original lineup set, and you add filter, and we only want the lineups that have a geometric mean of less than, what should I say, 37? And let's just make sure we can get them. So good. So now we're going to play these lineups. So what these are, this is a combination of the projections we put in, the original lineup set that was created. We ran it against the contests to give us a good, simulation of what types of lineups we're going to be up against. And lineups were picked to best fit those contests. And then we just did one more thing with that geomean filtering to give us less dupes. And we're just going to throw these in here literally just like this. Boom. Okay. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to take the filter off so that I could just put my best contest sim lineup into the window, which is it doesn't require as much juice, to say, for lack of a better term. So let's then edit the entries for the NBA. Then we'll be done with the NBA early slate, and then we could focus on this NFL bit of nonsense. Okay, NFL. Let's pull up the projections, and what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what to change, and then how to build. Okay. Okay. So why are we changing anything? That is a very good question. And maybe I don't have a really good answer, but let's just take a look and see. Because what happens is we have to first figure out which players that SaberSim has in its list. We even want in our player pool, because believe me, you're going to get to everybody if you don't X people out. If you want to play lineups that are competing for the big lottery tournament, and you go down here, you have all kinds of nonsense here. And what I am going to do today, well, first I want to make sure Alec Ingold is either playing or he isn't. So let's take a look at that first. Let's see the Alec Ingold experience here. Do I still have no information? No, he's playing. All right, so Alec Ingold is playing. Okay. He hasn't been getting a lot of touches, but whatever. We're not saying whether we're playing him. We're just saying whether he's going to be in the player pool. Now, I am actually going to use all of these Jets guys that get any projection at all. And they're all apparently active. Just make sure, again, that there's no problem with being active. I mean, all these guys are active, right? He has one catch, one target in 8 appearances. You know what I mean? But these are the guys that on this slate, where a game could blow out, all kinds of stuff can happen, that you just want to include in your player pool. But I'm even going to give him like a full point. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Good idea. Thank you. Didn't even realize that. So if you want to go back and see what I did in the NBA, you're going to have to. I'm sorry, I can't do it again. But what I did in the NBA was you know what? I'll show it one more time. Yeah. So what I did in the NBA, this is the screen. I put the projections in. I ran it, and then I did the contest sims, which I had already previously put in, right? Just to show you once again. You got time. Fadeaway. Then I ran it a contest sim against it, and then the last thing I did was I did a filter where I added the geometric mean that's going to give me no dupes, which was for 2,352 entries, 8 players in a lineup, 37.8 geometric mean. So I filtered it using this add filter. And again, sorry I didn't share my screen for that. I've done it a zillion times. But that's what I did. So let's say you got to this point. Actually, we can do it again. It shouldn't take so long. Screw it. Okay, so we're going to rerun a contest sim. The screen being shared. We've got time. See it spinning here. We already have the data. Thank you, Clay, for that, by the way. And then we're gonna pick the contest that we want, which is the fadeaway, rated by risk-adjusted ROI, and then do that filter thing where you could add filter, geometric mean, less than 37, save filter, and these were the lineups that we got. As a matter of fact, just to prove it, we're going to put these in this time. So let's do that. Save into the fadeaway. Boom. Download. Upload. And you're good. So the other thing, going back to football, is that Lazard is out, okay, which opens up all kinds of stuff. So what we're going to be doing, as I mentioned, and we'll do this we're going to do a DraftKings thing, and we're going to do FanDuel. We got plenty of time to do this. All right. So back to who we're Xing out. We're not Xing out anybody. As a matter of fact, all of these turkeys are going to get upgraded. Bawden, Tyler Croft, everybody gets 1 point. Charles Irvin, whatever. Julian Hill. He's up. So Julian Hill, I would prefer for Smythe to have been out. But we're gonna keep him at, we're gonna put him at 2 points as well. Ingold is active. I mean, I don't know what he's gonna get, but we'll keep him in the pool. Barrios, keep him in the pool. Randall Cobb, I almost want to upgrade, but I'm not going to. There's literally all these guys, we're going to make them just the same. Okay. The only guy I want to make maybe a little bit higher is maybe the Cedric Wilson, but let's just see. We'll round these off a little bit. Bromley at 200. I mean, that's going to show up. That's going to show up. Smythe, just keep him tame over there. But let's just keep these the way they are, because I think Wilson will end up being popular, among other things. All right. So everything else we're going to keep the same. All right. And then we are going to build our lineups. And let's build 100. I don't know if I'm going to play 100. Build 100. And we're going to build 5,000. And before I do that, is there anybody I want to have no exposure to in the captain? It's a question of what it does for us, Like if you get Bond in the captain and he gets like one thing, is that going to really help us? We're going to have to do this twice. All right, let's do it with no constraints first and see what we get. I'm going to give you also one little. So here's what you don't want to do on this slate, by the way. Okay, in my opinion, you don't want to mandatory like leave a certain amount on the table, and follow this. You have all these cheapos from Jeff Wilson down to whatever that are very inexpensive. In those types of slates, you don't want to leave money on the table, because when you leave on purpose, right? If you get there organically, great. But how do I put this? The reason why you'd want to leave money on the table is to get kind of unique, right? But if those guys are going to be popular anyway, you're not really gaining anything. You should just leave it the way it is, and you'll probably get like a whole bunch of lineups with all kinds of money left on the table anyway. I think that the way you handle uniqueness, where you have slates with low price players, is do more just raw ownership, like geometric mean filtering, as opposed to leaving money on the table. Okay. Now, part of the reason why we're keeping all these Jets in is that there's been there's always the possibility that the coaches are big fat liars, but in this particular case, they've been pretty vocal about the fact that they want to get all the youth in there. Okay. And so all of these guys that are active, I think, are live to get in the game. Now, getting into the game doesn't mean that they're going to score a touchdown. Getting into the game doesn't even mean they're going to get a target. But getting into the game when you have 12 guys to choose from, right, is I think it's big in the big MME contests, especially when you have like these other studs that are just eating up all the salary. If you could just get like a couple of points out of a guy with 200 or 400 or whatever, I think you're in good shape. And like, for example, like Randall Cobb, I mean, I think people are going to play him. So if you instead get 200 out of, say, Irwin Charles or something like that, somehow, that's like a really, really big deal. And again, you just have to know that if you play this way, there's going to be zeros, there's going to be cruelty. Okay. And what we will do is after this, we'll give the best plays. Listen, I'll give you the best plays. So Jeff Wilson's an amazing play, right? And you can play Jeff Wilson with all the studs, and and cash in most contests. I don't even have to put that up for you. It's like incredibly easy. You play. I don't even want me to tell you which ones, but all the guys you've heard of, and you play Jeff Wilson, and you can get anybody you want, and you'll probably cash. You're also going to be in like the big GPPs. I think literally chopping with maybe 1,000 people. So that's up to you. But yeah, so we're just kind of waiting on this. But again, it's 220, plenty of time. FanDuel will be easier because FanDuel you do want to. I think I do want to minimize salary over there. By the way, all my whining about how I know what to play FanDuel Showdown, I've had like major sweats, like not every slate, but in a lot of slates in the last last week or two. Over there, I just was like one pass away from 25,000 yesterday. That would have been sweet. And again, you can't be that greedy with FanDuel. I mean, to try to like even approach the optimal, not the optimal, a single winner on FanDuel is like almost impossible. How Awesemo did it like last weekend is nearly impossible. But could be just because there are 5 slots. All right, so you can see what's going on here. I mean, SaberSim is struggling. You want to know why? Because I'm making it go all these 200s. Do I like any bets? I mean, you're asking the wrong one. I mean, honestly, I think it's random. I really have no opinion. I like to say I think the Jets are probably the best best against the spread play. That's what I would say. All right. Okay. So we built 100 lineups, doing nothing else, and then let's just before we do anything, let's not even do a contest sim yet. Let's see if we can add a geomean filter to get no uniques and see like what ugliness that looks like. So remember what we're looking at here. For this tournament, the whatchamacallit, we're talking about how many people. It's going to be 94,117. So again, we put this up here, 94,117. 6 people, players in a lineup. So a geometric mean of about 15. And I'm not dealing with that. Hello? Okay. Why ring the bell then? Okay, so geometric mean, we need 15. So let's put it in here. Geo mean less than 15. Let's see what kind of ugliness we get. It's going to be ugly. All right, so it gives us 100 lineups. That's good. But you know what you get for that? All right. Well, first of all, in the flex, you get, I mean, not that bad. You get, how much Nick Bowden is this? This is 36% Nick Bowden. Yikes. And then I'm afraid of what's going to happen in the captain, actually. 26% Julian Hill in the captain. Yeah, I'm not too into that. And definitely the 36% Nick Bowden is just not happening. So there's a couple of things we can do here. Okay, one is we could just increase the filter to maybe allow 5 dupes. That's probably a good idea. Or we could see what happens if we try to reduce the Nick Bowden exposure and just kind of rebuild. Let's see if let's just try to just add a little bit more, give it a little more of a break here. So instead of a 14 geometric mean, like demanding, no dupes, let's see if we can give ourselves 5 dupes. So now at 19.3, that's what we're going to input now. And let's just see what that type of build looks like. Again, you're not really supposed to play this way. But once again, now we're getting a whole, but now we're 76% Julian Hill in the flex. And the captain is actually not bad. I mean, you're getting only a couple of these randos in the captain. Okay. So what I'd love to do is just go in here and see if I can't just say, well, maybe I don't want so much Julian Hill. I mean, you want to give me a break here? SaberSim, you want to give me, what if I only play 30%? I mean, is it going to yell at me that much? It probably will, right? Let's see. Actually, not bad. I could play only 30% Julian Hill and get reasonable captains Tyreek Hill, Jason Sanders, Brees Hall. Now back to Julian Hill. Now we're 11% Julian Hill captain. Julian Hill seems to be my cross to bear, so to speak here. So it's either going to be a whole bunch of Julian Hill in the captain or in the flex or both. But I don't know. Maybe that's a pretty good stand to take. Like Smythe was threatening to be inactive. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's not the worst stand in the world. But let's see again. Let's do one other thing. Let's use the contest sim and see if maybe, just maybe, that'll bail us out. Again, what I'm trying to accomplish is using my projections and using my X outs, whatever, to get me a portfolio of lineups that I can stomach that have a chance to have less than 3 dupes. That's the only goal. I don't need the best lineup. I don't even need close to the best lineup. I just need to not have to throw up from the whole portfolio. That's it. So like now, the filter looks pretty good here, right? Filter's still good. We're only, once again, 30% Julian Hill. And once again, we're going to get the Julian Hill is the annoyance here. Oh, but we didn't even filter this yet. So let's see. Not 2-point conversion. We want Black Friday Showdown by risk-adjusted ROI. Okay, so now, what do we got? In the captain, once again, Julian Hill, but only 4%? We got some of these kind of randoms, but that's okay. A couple of randoms isn't bad, but what do we got in the flex? Julian Hill, still 30%. So he's just going to have to be the guy that I eat, I think. But let's just see what happens if I can make him a little bit less. Can I sneak out 20%? Julian Hill? I mean, can I do that? Are they going to really yell at me? Or they're just going to swap him right to the captain? Actually, I think we did it. And you talk about, scientific and all this stuff. I think we did. I'm afraid to put min uniques more than one, so we're just going to take this. And that's what we're going to do. Okay. Whew. All right. So now we did the stupid stuff. Now we're going to actually see what's like a real good lineup to put in. It's not that chalky, but we're going to put in the 222. So we're going to, we already ran the contest sims, and let's just use the 2-point conversion and see what types of lineups we look like. So, okay, so that's interesting, actually. This one's got Hall and the captain, but then 5 Dolphins. Wow, these are really interesting, huh? These are 5 ones, but with Hall and the captain. Once again, Jay Hill getting the best of me here. That's actually not the worst idea in the world, but this Julian Hill thing is really starting to become an annoyance. So what we're going to do is we are going to, for the 222, since we have so much Julian Hill over there, we'll get rid of the Julian Hill ones. We'll just add until, so we're going to play this one. Hill and the captain with Sanders, Tua. We'll play the Jets quarterback. Gibson's a good play, and Hall. So that's what we're going to do. We'll put that one into the 222. And you'll notice a severe lack of Jeff Wilson. But whatever. Can't do everything. All right. So let's download these. Pull all these in. And that's going to be our big stand, actually, is that I don't know if we have any. Let's see. I want to see. I almost don't want to see how much Jeff Wilson we have or don't have. We don't have any Jeff Wilson. Oh, well. Let's see what happens. Let me just see what we were projecting him for. Did I make a huge mistake? Is that like an enormous mistake to not play any Jeff Wilson? I mean, what can I tell you? He's going to be super popular. Whatever, 8%, looks like, something like that. Well, that's going to be it. We'll see what happens. All right, let's do FanDuel. Pull up the FanDuel build here. Miami Jets. And we'll do the same thing we did before. Let's just we'll keep these projections as they are. We're not gonna make any changes actually here. But what we are gonna do on FanDuel is limit the salary. Okay, I found that's the best way to handle FanDuel. You just can't get a geometric mean of as low as you want without like completely destroying your lineups. So we're going to build. We're only going to play these. And my magic number nowadays is 58,900. And again, this is not particularly scientific. But the way I think about it is there are people that will leave 1,000 on the table, but so they'll go to 59,000, and maybe I'll go 58.9 and just differentiate myself from those people, just in that way. And just so you guys know, at like 6:30 tonight, we're gonna do the live show for later. Because remember, it's 7:30 NBA and 7:30 NHL. And if I'm feeling it, maybe we'll do a live thing or something later. I don't know. I'm just kind of juiced up on this Black Friday. I had a half day at work today. Which is nice. As a matter of fact, I got to deal with something right now. Just 1 second. That's good. Well, there. And we're just going to probably just do a contest sim and just go with this. Why is who's out of my lineup? Well, I'm not gonna have any Lazard, I don't think. Okay, so we'll use the Black Friday special. We'll try to go 3 min uniques. And this seems more normal, right? Wilson, Hill, Mostert, Tua in the MVP. We're just leaving some money on the table. Again, I strongly advise you do not play. I couldn't get what happened to my lineups? I couldn't get as many as I needed. Should be able to. What the hell happened? Because I couldn't get min uniques. Okay. Okay, so we'll go 2 min uniques. We'll put those in here. Boom. And then we will also put the we're going to run actually one more build, without the max salary to put in the bigger buy-in. We don't need to run that many though. I'm sure there's a faster way to do this instead of like rebuilding. I could probably have just sorted by. No, I couldn't because I want to include the 59,000 and up in this build. Yeah, I guess Jimmy. Now I'm thinking about it, I guess I like the Jets. It's just too easy to have the Miami side here. Tim Boyle sucks. All this stuff. They have no offense. It just seems way too easy to take the Miami. But I don't know, man. Miami, this seems like a dangerous game for them. Like coming into New York, the weather's pretty nice here. Actually, I was hoping it'd be like get these windy Meadowlands games because Tua with those timing passes are not really conducive to that. Yeah, so this is probably pretty safe here. Conklin will be the one. Yeah, this is probably going to win. But I mean, it's probably going to chop with like 100 people or more. But I think it's pretty safe one. Pretty safe 5-1 or 4-1. So we'll put that in here. And the only way you get, I'm telling you, if you want to play this type of thing, like using these tools, the only way to do it is to practice it. And I hope you guys have been following when I've done videos like when I just struggle to get these things done. And because I'm just a human like everybody else, and I don't know this better than, I started with this just like you guys, but you just get a lot of practice doing it and you get much faster at it. Just want to do one thing before I get out of here. I just want to make sure that I'm not being really, really stupid by playing 0 Jeff Wilson. That just feels so wrong. I mean, is there anything I can do to make that better? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this again. All right, let's first make sure that my projections are right, or at least close enough, right? I just, again, it's Showdown, so it doesn't really matter too much. All right, well, projection of 6. What else do you want? I mean, I can't give him more than that. He's 21% owned. I mean, I just not going to be able to get that much of him. I don't think. I just don't think it's going to happen. We'll try it again, but we'll rebuild lineups, I guess. We'll build 100 lineups. Oh, here's one thing I wanted to show you. All right, so here's a trick. I am gonna do something. I kind of like this. I'm gonna right after I do this. This is like some good value added. I talked about this when I did MLB Showdown. And I have all these ideas. Like I have these ideas of how you're supposed to play. Not how you're supposed to play, but different ways to play that honestly have never really been tested, and I never back tested them but it just makes sense. And I like actually talking through it. But we're gonna have to wait until this ends. Actually, we're not gonna wait. It is actually more important to do that than to try to talk myself into playing Jeff Wilson when I don't want to. All right, so this is what I wanted to show you. I want to do a build, and this is going to be the settings. I want to do a min salary of 50,000. Okay? And a max salary of 50,000. So I want to build lineups with 50,000 with the salary completely maxed out. Okay? All right. So and there's a method to my madness. Because usually, like in Showdowns, you're like, well, you don't want to max out your salary, right? But this is what I want to. I have a plan. It's going to take a while because it's 5,000. Sorry about this. Should I stop it? It's not going to give me that many. I don't think. Yeah, so check it out. I think it's like stopping right now. Because to actually like max it out at exactly 50,000, there are only so many lineups that you can play. Okay, so here are all the lineups. Well, not all of them, 50 lineups, and they all have 0 left on the table. All right. So this is what I would like to show you. So what I'm looking for are lineups that have a $200 player in them. For example, who's 200? Julian Hill, for example. Okay. So we want to, and Jason Brownlee and Julian Hill and Randall Cobb, these guys. And let's see. Where are the other guys? Where are the captains? I don't see them. Hold on. Captain. Nobody in the captain. So we're talking about lineups with Brownlee, Hill, and Cobb. We didn't get any with Nick Bodden for some reason. Why didn't we get any with Nick Bodden? We're supposed to. Why didn't we get any with Charles Irvin? Oh, because okay. We'll get there in a second. So what we're looking for is this. Let's look at the Randall Cobb lineups for a second. Okay. For example, here's an observation. You have this lineup with Randall Cobb in it. You have Randall Cobb and these 5 players in these positions. If you want to get a lineup with all 5 of these players in this position, like if these guys all go off, for example, the only way you can do it is if you have a $200 guy in there. Okay? Or like a 0. So what I want to do is play all of the lineups that have a $200 guy in. So I want to take these Randall Cobb lineups and play every $200 guy that is active in the game at all. Okay? Even if they could get a 0 to put in here. The thought being that if in fact all these guys just in this order like go off, that I'm completely have it covered. And sometimes like in Showdown, for example, in baseball, you could put relief pitchers in here and get 0s, right? So like if like none of the $200 guys get there, it's also okay because it's possible that this gets there with a 0. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to take all these Cobb lineups, we want to play them. We want to play the Cobb lineups, and then we want to add in all of those other $200 guys. Unfortunately, it's just going to take a little while, so I can't really do it here. But so that's the plan, is to find all the Randall Cobb lineups and then just shuffle in all those other $200 guys. And it's not that many. Like, we're going to sort by salary here. Wait, we got to take out the Cobb. You would go to your lineups and find anything with where Cobb is, and then you're going to add in like the Julian Hill, Jason Brownlee, and the other guy who was active who didn't have exposure, like Tyler Croft, like anybody that has a projection at all, Irvin Charles, Nick Bodden, things like that. So basically, you want to swap out in these 50,000 lineups, you know, in the lineups with, you know, no money left on the table. You want to swap out all the $200 combinations. All right, that was not the greatest explanation. We'll do that another time, but I do have to go and tweak all this stuff. I will see you guys at 6:30 for NBA and for